Our first guest tonight is a talented actress. You know her from her work on shows like Parks and Recreation and Legion and films like Happiest Season. Her children's book, The Legend of the Christmas Witch, is available today. Please welcome back to the show our very good friend, Aubrey Plaza, everyone. I feel like you did something different to your look over the pandemic.
No, this is how I always dress,
Are you
Seth.
sure? It's not a haircut or something?
No.
This is very exciting. First of all, it is great to see you.
You too, man.
And now you have this book, The Christmas Witch.
Yes.
Now, I was not familiar with witches in the Christmas time. What gave you this idea? It shouldn't be straight. It's the legend of the Christmas Witch.
This is the legend of the Christmas Witch. She's always existed, Seth, and just now we finally get her story.
Oh.
Yes.
Have you always been drawn to Halloween as a holiday?
Yes, Halloween has always been kind of my thing.
Uh-huh.
And through the past couple of years, I've been doing this performance kind of art witchy thing on Halloween where I scare all the kids in the neighborhood. I don't have children, so it's extra weird. And I dress up like a witch, and I do this thing with them where I like throw candy at them, which they like, but then I also try to scare them and freak them out, which they don't like. But it really gets them all riled up, and they come back for more. They can't get enough. And I throw it and scream, like, I don't want to be doing this. And they're like, you don't have to. And I'm like, yes, I do. And it goes back and forth like that all night long.
Do you feel like you intimidate the other neighbors in that they feel like they're not putting the same energy into the spirit?
I mean, Hank and Linda, you gotta up your game.
And you sort of do it from your front steps? Is that where you're...
Yeah, I create a whole kind of graveyard scene in my front yard. I hide behind the tombstones, and I actually put the bowl of candy with a spotlight on it. And I hide, and so then the kids walk up, and they all know, okay, there's candy in there, and they all discuss, all right, you go, you put your hand in there, and they all are scared, and then one brave little kid does it, and the minute he reaches in, I attack. And they cry. A lot of them cry, and it's disturbing.
That's great.
Yeah.
And now you've made them a children's book.
Yes.
This same person. So now, where did you get this idea of a Christmas witch? This is sort of, is it based on anything?
First of all, I get sad after Halloween, and I had to hang up my witch hat and broom, and I always get sad. So a couple years ago, I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that this year. I'm going to carry it through to Christmas. And I'm gonna dress up like a witch at Christmas, and instead of throwing candy, I'm gonna throw presents and see if I can get the same reaction. And I did.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So I kind of developed this Christmas witch character just out of boredom, really. And I tried it out on my manager. I put a sack of presents in a bag or something. I think in a garbage bag maybe. And I put a witch costume on, but I gave it a Christmas flair. I think I had some bells on my head or something. And then I told her, I'm gonna come scare your son, Max. So tell him the Christmas witch is coming. See how he feels about it. Tell him he's gonna get a present, but it's gonna be very scary. And Max was kind of my guinea pig. And I basically just went there, hid in the bushes, and I worked out my shtick.
I want to point out, like, I think sometimes kids' books are, you know, they're sort of a few words on each page. It's a little simple. This is your world building here. I just want to show that, like, whenever you see a map on the first page of a book, you know that you're getting your bang for your buck in here. Yeah, that helped. That's very helpful.
Yes, so Julia Iredale is our illustrator. She's an amazing illustrator from Vancouver. And we talked to her about having a map because, yes, we are world building. We're going to have an amusement park world, a little section of the amusement park, the Christmas Witch amusement park. And little kids are going to grow up knowing, oh, the Christmas Witch is coming, and we know where she came from, the Black Forest. And then she got in the boat with her penguins. She has penguins instead of reindeer.
Great.
She's on the South Pole instead of the North Pole. You get the idea. And,
I mean,
Anyway,
I
it's
get
all in
that
the
there is
book.
an idea, yeah. Now, I wanna finish by remarking on some exciting personal news.
Okay.
You were one of the people that I think is very sweet during the pandemic, during a very difficult time.
Yeah.
You got married. Congratulations. Imagine a smaller ceremony.
Yes. It was just a joke that went too far. It was our anniversary, and yes, we'd been in lockdown as everyone was in quarantine, kind of. And we were just like, it's our anniversary. We should do something special. And I was like, why don't we just get married? How about that? And then he was like, well, I don't think we can. It's probably not possible to do it on a Sunday like this. And I was like, well, I'm gonna Google it. And I did. And I found a website called onehourmarriage.com. And I called the number and I said, can you get us married in an hour like you advertise? And they said, I don't know, we're in Alhambra, so how about tomorrow? And I said, no, I want the hour thing that you do. And then silence on the other end. And then he said, how about 2 hours? And it's extra $100 or whatever. And I said, sold. And then a very nice man, from Alhambra came in a Hawaiian shirt with a briefcase. I was, saging.
That's how you know it's legal when the brief. When
Yeah. I created a love altar of our love objects, and I smoked it out, in the yard, and then there is a witch. This is has nothing to do with
a
Christmas.
separate witch.
There's a separate witch thing where there was a witch that was living across the street during the quarantine. Her name was Dandelion. We became friends.
Now, did she have to tell you she was a witch, or did you know?
Oh, that's pretty much the first thing she says when you meet her,
Yeah.
that she's a fourth generation witch from Tennessee. And
Gotcha.
I kind of became her apprentice. But anyway, this was like, the wedding was like, we're doing it in an hour, 2 hours. So I just went over to her place and I said, I think we're gonna get married in the yard. If you could do a spell or tell me if this is like a good idea, cosmically, astrologically, that'd be great. Or whatever you want to do.
I would imagine when you're an across the street witch, that's your dream.
Oh, yeah.
That somebody comes to you and asks for information like that on the fax.
I mean, we were meant to be neighbors. 100%.
Had she signed off on everything?
Oh, yeah. She went, I have just the thing. She went into her house, literally cackled. I could hear her from outside. And then brought me this rosemary crown that I wore in my hair while I got married. And hopefully it's not a curse.
Well, so far so good, right?
So far so good, right, honey?
You guys, that's Aubrey Plaza, the legend of the Christmas Witch, is available today.